Hey, it's Christmas Miracle. Here's a workout for you that you can do anytime, anywhere, okay? And all you're gonna need is this resistance band, okay? A nice sturdy wall or door, some type of solid chair to sit on or an ottoman, and a mat or a towel or just a comfy carpeted area, okay? So, nice full body workout. You can do the whole thing, start to finish, and get a nice, good full body in, or it's broken down in such a way that you can do different body parts. So you don't have to do the whole thing, and everything is marked out for you on a timeline, so you can just jump to what you want to accomplish, okay? So let's get to it. We're starting with a warm-up, then we're going to do some legs, then we got some big upper body muscles to do, and then core, then small upper body muscles, and then a cool down with some mobility. So if you don't want to knock out the whole thing, just pick the one you want to do and get it done. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to demonstrate what to do. I'll do two things, and then I'll tell you to press pause so you can knock out those two things, okay? So here's what we got. We're just kind of bouncing, all right? So you're on your toes, and you're bouncing, and I want you to be slack. I want your joints to be fluid and loose. Seems kind of silly, but it's good for the lymphatic drainage, okay? And it's also just good to kind of get you moving, and you find out what kind of tension you're holding, all right? So you do that for about 30 hops, like that, okay? Then from there, we're jogging in place, okay? And you're gonna just casually jog, light feet. You don't wanna hear your feet hitting the ground, and you're jogging and you're counting to 30 in your head. So knock those two things out. Press pause, do those two things. All right, you transition from jogging in place to some high knees, and it's slow motion, high knees, okay? So you're up and you're giving me the best range of motion that you got, all right? And once again, you're counting to 30, okay? So you do those high knees, okay? And then you add skaters into it. So you're light on your feet and you're side to side and you're counting to 30, okay? So you do those two moves. So press pause, knock out those two moves. All right, we're done with the lower body, so now we move to the upper body. You're gonna try and fold yourself in half vertically. So I round out my shoulders, and now I stretch my chest. Round out my shoulders, and then I stretch my chest. I do that 10 times each direction, okay? So I knock that out, and then I've got big arm circles. I'm going to do 5 one way, hit the brakes, and I do 5 the other. And I do that for both arms, okay? So press pause, knock those two out. All right, almost done with the upper body. I'm going to get my wrist like so, and I'm going to pull my fingers back, all right? So I capture the thumb in there as well. My shoulder's down, my arm is straight. I pull it back, okay? And then I push it down just like that. And I'm going to do 5 this way and 5 this way. And I do it with both sides, okay? So knock those out, and then we got one more stretch to do, okay? All right, if you don't have a chair or an ottoman available, you can do this on the floor, but it's just easier to do it elevated. So you find something elevated and you get 90 degrees. Your other leg just extends back behind you. You're doing an elevated pigeon or a modified 90-90, right? So I'm leaning down and I'm trying to put my nose on the bench, on the floor, on the ottoman, whatever, okay? I hold that, all right, for about 15 seconds. And then I switch and I do the same thing on the other side, and you see which side is tighter. Get down, hold it 15 seconds, okay? You're gonna do that twice, all right? So press pause, knock that stretch out, and then we're finally ready to work out. So you can complete this warm-up just as a mobility thing, okay? Or you can use it as the warm-up for your full body workout. All right, it's time for your legs. So we're starting off with some squats, okay? I'm gonna do bench squats. So I'm seated, and then I'm standing back up, just like so. So I sit, I hinge my hips back, okay? So we're gonna knock out 15 of these, okay? you're not sitting and putting your whole weight on there. You find the bench and then you get yourself back up. So knock out 15 of those, okay? And then we've got some resistance band stuff to do. So press pause, knock out those 15. All right, you got your resistance band, and look, I take the 2 loose ends, okay? I've got the 2 loose ends, and I'm gonna set it on the floor, just like so, okay? I stand upon those 2 loose ends, and then I take my other foot and I put it in the loop, all right? So I make sure that it's good and secure, and then I extend my leg back behind me. So if you need something to hold on to, find a wall, okay, or a bench, or a table, whatever, but you feel stability on the downside, you feel glute and hamstring on the upside, okay? Knock out 15 on one side, okay? Make sure that you're good and stable, all right? And you're standing on both the loose ends, and then you do the same thing on the other side. So 15 on each side, press pause, knock it out. All right, so now we've got lunges to do, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate from the side here, and you're going to be stepping down into a lunge. You got a nice long stride. Look at that. My knee is not protruding beyond my toe. I'm alternating, okay? I've got good upright posture, okay? And you're going to alternating lunge for 20, okay? So 20 total, not 20 on each side. Posture is good and upright. Abs are drawn in. Knock out 20, press pause, and then we've got a resistance band exercise coming up. All right, you just did your lunges. Now, remember how we did it before. We took the loose ends, we put them on top of each other, okay? And then we stood upon it, all right? So I'm standing on both of the loose ends, just like so. I put my foot, the other one, in the middle of the loop, all right? So now, I make sure that I hardly have any slack at all. I'm standing on both of the loose ends, and then I'm going to pick my leg up just like so. So I feel hip flexor and quad, okay? And I'm going to do 15 on one side. I feel glute and stability on my base leg. I feel hip flexor and quad right here. If you need more resistance, carefully take your base foot off and stand a little closer to the action foot so you have more tension. Just like that, okay? Perfect. 15 on one side, 15 on the other. Press pause, bang it out. All right, we're done with the resistance band for now. So I'm going to demonstrate 2 exercises, and then you can press pause after you've seen it and knock them both out. So, good old-fashioned sumo squats. I'm going down and I open my legs up. I want to get lower than the bench, so I'm not using the bench as a guide, okay? So open your knees up, sumo squats times 15, okay? Immediately after that, you sit on your chair or whatever it is that you have that's nice and sturdy to sit on, and look, you're going to open the gate and then back. So I try and open my leg as far as I can. Sitting really tall, I feel outer hip, I feel inner thigh, and I do 10 on one side, 10 on the other, okay? So sumo squats, and then 10 and 10, opening the gates, okay? Bang those out, press pause, get it done. All right, so you knock those 2 out. We've got 2 more to go, okay? So you're gonna do alternating curtsy, okay? So you point your hip out just like that, and then you're back up. Point the hip out. Don't shoot the knee forward, okay? As I curtsy, I'm thinking about hinging and going back, okay? Very little weight on the back foot, okay? So you're going to alternate for 20 total. Then, guess what? You're seated again, and you open the gate again. You do 10 on one side, 10 on the other, trying to get as much range of motion as you can. You get out there, open the leg as far as you can. 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Bang those out. Then it's time for 1 more leg exercise, and then we're done with the legs. All right, this last one. Get your feet and your calves and your shins. You're standing, and you get as high as you can, and you rock on your heels. So I'm on my heels, I'm on my toes. I'm trying to push through the big toe. I'm trying to rock on my heels and get those toes up as high as I can, okay? So I feel calves and shins. I feel the muscles in my feet. My ankles are moving, okay? So we do 20 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we get it done. Okay. Press pause, knock that out. You're done with your legs. Time for some upper body. All right, upper body. Okay. You're going to work toward 15 of these. Okay. So if you can't do 15, doesn't matter. That's your goal. All right. You've got push-ups. All right. So a couple modifiers here. Okay. You can do big boy push-ups. All right. From the toes down to 90 degrees. You knock out 15 of them. Want to modify it a little bit. Put the knees down and still keep that torso nice and straight. Okay. We knock out 15 of those. All right. Press pause. Knock those out. And then you need your resistance band and you're going to need a wall. Okay. All right. You banged out your push-ups. Now you got your resistance band and you got yourself a sturdy wall or a door that no one's going to come through. Okay. I take my resistance band and I put it up across my mid back. Okay. I make sure that it's even. And then I'm in a wall sit. Okay. So easy modification is you're not in a deep wall sit. The deeper you are in the wall sit, the more difficult it is. Okay. Put some tension on there. Decide how much tension you want. Okay. And then it's a single arm chest press. All right. There's not meant to be a ton of resistance here. You're trying to flex that pec with the good posture. Okay. You do 15 on one side, 15 on the other. Again, not meant to be a really strong resistance. It's meant for you to find that pec and engage it, okay, while getting the rest of your body fatigued as well. 15 on one side, 15 on the other. Press pause, bang it out. All right, we've got our resistance band again, okay, and we're going to be standing on it with both feet. So I stand on it with one, I stand on it with the other, okay. Pick your resistance, okay, all right. So my butt is back and I'm pulling my elbows up and back. So it's a bent over row. I'm pinching my shoulder blades together, okay? I feel low back. I'm sticking my butt out behind me. My spine is nice and straight and I'm in a row for 15, just like that, okay? So after you knock out the row for 15, go to your pointer dog. You're on all fours, okay? And it's the pointer dog. Opposite arm and leg. Draw it in, extend it out. 15 on one side. Look, you're not alternating. 15 on one side, then 15 on the other. Okay? Just like that. So, 2 exercises demonstrated. Press pause. Get them done. All right, we've got 2 exercises for the shoulders. Okay? You're in your big person push-up position, just like so, from the toes. Okay, my body's nice and straight, and then I'm going to pike it up, like I'm trying to put the top of my head on the floor. Okay, so push-up position, pike it up, back to the push-up position, pike it up on the toes. Okay, you should feel shoulders, lats, low back, hamstrings. You feel your feet as well. 15 of those. Then you grab your resistance band, okay, and you're sitting on it. You make sure you're sitting on it fully, okay. The handles or the edges are somewhat even, okay. I sit nice and tall, and I'm going to press. Once again, not a ton of resistance here, but I want you to keep your shoulder down, and you reach nice and high. 15 on one side, 15 on the other. You want more resistance? Grab a little lower on the resistance band and you get a lot more, okay? 15 on one side, 15 on the other. Press pause, knock out those 2 exercises. Okay, here's where you need, it's time for the core stuff. Here's where you need a mat or a towel or some comfy carpet, okay? So this is self-paced, all right? So you're going to plank it out. You're on your elbows and your forearms. Your back's nice and straight, and you're going to count, okay? So count in your head to 30, whatever you think 30 seconds is, okay? Say the Lord's Prayer, you know, whatever. do something that occupies your time, but you're in this position for about 30 seconds. Okay. Then once you're done with that, we're flipping it over, and it is very, very tiny upper ab crunch. Okay. Look, I hug my head. I press my low back into the floor. Okay. So low back's pressed into the floor, and it's the tiniest crunch ever. Look, there's not a bunch of spine flexion. Okay. I find those abs. Just lying with my low back pressed in makes me feel them. And then I just put my elbows to the ceiling. It's the tiniest bit of flexion ever, but I feel tons of upper abs. So if you have low back issues or whatever, this is relatively safe to do. Okay. So we knock those out. All right. You're going to do 15 of those tiny little crunches after your plank. So press pause, get those 2 done. All right. Now, it's your side plank. All right. Again, you're trying to count to 30 in your head. If you can't get to 30, do whatever you can do. If you're a rock star and can go beyond 30, see how long you can go. Okay. So you're on your side. Your feet are stacked up, and you're doing a side plank. Look, I'm up, and my free hand is here to help stabilize me and remind me to push my hips forward. Okay. So I'm here just like so, nice and push forward. I'm trying to count to 30 in my head. Okay. You set that down. You do the same thing on the other side, counting to 30 in your head. Okay. So knock those out and then come back for some obliques. All right. So I've been working my core a lot. The side planks are the worst. Okay. So now you're lying on your back, your arms are out, and your shoulders are not up. Shoulders are down, but your arms are out wide to the side. I put my knees together. I get rid of the small of my back, so my low back's pressed into the floor. I roll to one side. Oh, and I feel those obliques, and I also feel some hips and some low back rotation. I do the same thing on the other side. Okay. So you're going at this speed. Get yourself centered, spine to the floor, abs drawn in. Go to this side. Try and get to the floor, and then try and release the tension. So you enjoy the stretch for a second, and then you engage your abs, bring it back up, and go the other way. Okay? So this pace, this slow, 10 reps total. So bang it out, press pause, get it done. All right, it's our last of the core series. Okay? 2 exercises. I'm going to do them back to back so you can knock them out together. Okay? Hey, look, it's a face-up plank. You're on your heels, you're on your elbows and your forearms, and you raise those hips up high, and you feel hamstrings, glutes, low back. Okay? And we just live here just like so. Once again, you're trying to count to 30 in your head. You feel low back, you feel abs, you feel hamstrings, you feel a lot of stuff. Okay? So aim for 30. Don't feel bad if you can't get there. Okay? If you start to cramp up, stop it. Okay? So then from there, we find ourselves flipped over, and we do a little cow, cat, child's pose, just like that. We're going to do that a few times. All right? So up to 5. Cow, cat, child's pose. Okay? All right. Press pause, knock out that reverse plank, okay, and the cat-cow child's pose. All right, we've got arms to do, okay. You got your resistance band, and you're going to use your resistance band for all of these. It's also a little callback to some of the leg stuff that we did earlier, okay. So I'm in narrow stance. I'm in a quarter squat, okay. I'm going to demonstrate from the side for you, okay. So I'm in a little bit of a quarter squat. I have a good grip on here. And I'm doing some hammer curls, just like so. Slow and deliberate. I knock out 15 of them, okay? If the resistance is too much, you try and sink a little lower to take some of the resistance off of there, okay? Your legs work more, but your biceps work appropriately, all right? You knock out 15 of those, okay? So press pause, get those 15 done. Come back for some triceps. All right, you're back, and it's time for some triceps. I take this, and I stand upon it with my front foot. I'm going to be in a lunge. So look, I have a nice long stride, something that resembles a lunge, okay? My hands are on each of the loose ends. I draw them up so my elbows are locked at my sides next to my ribs, and then I kick them back from the elbows. So tricep kickbacks. Want to make it harder? Grab a little lower, okay? So I kick it just like so, all right? And I'm going to do that for 10 on one side, and then I do 10 on the other, okay? Get your lunge, lock them in, 10 and 10, okay? Knock out those triceps, and then we're back for some deltoids. All right. I'm in a static sumo squat now, okay? You decide how much tension you have on here to begin with, okay? Your arms are out straight. I'm in my sumo squat, and then I'm going to retract it, okay? So the resistance band ends up against my chest. My arms are real straight, and I feel some rear delts, okay? Sumo squat, not too deep. Tension that you want, pull it apart, just like that, okay? Pull it apart, okay? And you feel those rear deltoids right there. 15 of those, okay? Press pause. And that's your arms right there, so knock that out. All right, so that was the end of the arms. Now it's time for mobility and a cool down, okay? So you're in the big boy push-up position, and I'm going to step into a sumo step, nice and wide, just like so. And then I reach high to the ceiling, and then I go back to where I came from, okay? So push-up position, sumo step, okay? Rotate. So the knee that's forward is the arm that's rotating. So I step forward with this knee, this arm reaches for the ceiling. I step forward with the other knee, rotate, okay? So you're doing 10 total, not 10 per side. So press pause, knock out that. All right, what we have here is a sumo shift, I call it, okay? So you're gonna get into a wide, slightly wider than a normal sumo squat, and then you're just shifting from side to side, okay? So I try and keep the same height no matter where I am. I'm not coming up in the middle and then dropping down. This low position here, I shift across the middle and I keep it. So my buttocks is way back. My hips are hinged. Groin stretch. And you just see how low you can go. Like my hands are on the floor and I shift across. You've got 10 shifts, not 10 per side, 10 total, okay? Knock that out and you got one more thing to do. Okay, last exercise, all right? You're gonna get an up close and personal view of my best side, my back side, all right? So you're lying down, arms out like a T, okay? I pick up my leg, and I mean, I barely pick it up. You're not lifting it high and then draping it over like that. You barely pick it up so it clears the other leg. And then your hips rotate, and you let that foot hit the ground, and we breathe easy, okay? And we do the same side for 5 times. Take it over, breathe. You're trying to keep your shoulders flat on the floor, but those hips can absolutely rotate, okay? So 5 on one side, and then 5 on the other. I try and keep my shoulders down, my hips rotate. I try and keep my foot on the ground, floppy and relaxed. I go back to where I came from. I do 5 on each side, okay? So here's the deal. Like I said at the beginning, you can do this whole workout from start to finish, okay? You can add reps, you can try and add resistance, make it your own, okay? Don't have time to do the whole thing, that's fine. I've time-stamped each section. So if you want to just do the opening mobility work because you're about to get on a plane and you want people to look at you funny while you're bouncing around in the airport, Great. Okay. So in the video, all right, on the YouTube page, there's timestamps of when each thing happens. So you can just fast forward to what you want to do. Okay. Hey, it's going to be a great year. This will keep you motivated, and you can do it anytime, anywhere. Okay. It's a joy to train you. Well, most of you. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joy.